I've been spending the last hour or few working on this sort of script to help me prepare for my oral interview, which is basically, as I've come to realize recently, it's basically the equivalent of a talk abroad conversation, except this one is going to be over Microsoft Teams, and it's going to be with my Intermediate Spanish 1 professor, with whom I'll also be in Intermediate Spanish 2 next semester. I pretty much have everything that's needed. I just needed a bit more steel. And I currently can't build anything here because I'm currently upgrading an armory because of this task right here. This person right here, I'm not sure what kind of a visor this character is, but earlier he gave me a sort of mission where I had to move 4 buildings, and I kind of cheesed it by simply moving this building to here, and then back there a total of 2 times for a total of moving the same building 4 times. Dad got these roasted red potatoes, and he put cheese on them to simulate the usual potato au gratin. And it has some pretty tasty results. Despite having a sort of small lunch at 4 p.m. consisting of a sandwich on a sesame seed bun, that I think had some kind of relishy sauce to it, and was good nonetheless. And some Lay's cheddar potato chips. It's currently 8:08 p.m. and I was feeling somewhat hungry. I had my American political thought class today, though at the end of that class today it was sort of announced that technically I'm not going to have class on Friday, in that you don't have to sign on for the online lecture, as Friday's class won't really be a lecture like Wednesday's was on Lincoln at Gettysburg. Although pretty much right before Dad finished cooking this meal of chicken and roasted red potatoes that he got at Wegmans following a football game, which we watched at home because Bill didn't want to go out anywhere due to, I believe, a resurgence of COVID-19 within New York. And I believe some resultant closings. The resurgence obviously meant that going out would be less safe. I did some moving around so I could fit in. So I could potentially fit in a new workshop or possibly a steel manufactory into this area. I did some moving around. This is a new residence, and I recently upgraded the training grounds to level 2, and I intend to do so again because I'm on the verge of successfully researching the Dryad unit, which is ultimately a training grounds unit. And then immediately following that would be a promotion of the Cerberus, the first and for a long time, and currently my only trainable unit at the training grounds. These two units, I believe, are mercenary camp units. At least that's what I think. Let me double check. It seems the Orc Strategist is a training grounds unit, but obviously I don't have the technology yet that would enable me to train that unit. But I do know that... Oh, right. The Remnant Frog is a mercenary camp unit, and so are the Valorian Guards. Me and one other classmate known as Megan were the only ones who participated in the discussions. Which led to La Professora suggesting that the rest didn't do the reading for today. After that class, I made an attempt to attend today's virtual office hour for my political geography class, just because I think that would have been helpful. But the professor for that class was a no-show for that after 10 to 15 minutes, so that didn't end up happening. And also, it should be noted that the professor for the American Political Thought class said that Abraham Lincoln considered the Confederates to be fellow Americans, which is one of the things I ultimately said, because aside from fighting to abolish slavery, the North fought to keep the Union together. And the North had that aspect of involving the federal government under them. So, and the reason why it was important to keep the Union together was because the United States was pretty much the only democracy in the world at that time. And every other power felt that democracy wasn't sensible at the time. And so this democratic experiment in the United States had to succeed to show the world that democracy could succeed and could work. And the Northern success is why there's no legal slavery in the world today, and why so many people today enjoy democracy rather than dictatorships or monarchies. Oh yeah, and for breakfast, before my American Political Thought class, Dad gave me the last of the Singapore noodles and the last fortune cookie, which I saved for him, but it turns out I guess he didn't want it. So true. I got that notebook out with the intention of taking some notes, but nothing written or typed came on during the online class, so I ended up not actually taking any notes throughout the lecture. These look like some pretty good seconds. While I've been working on preparing my script for the oral interview, although I have no idea ultimately what's going to be discussed. This is just based on an assumption that it's basically going to be like a conversation. Though obviously I cannot be expected to be that fluent because I'm only taking Intermediate Spanish 1. Now, while I've been preparing the script, I've been working on the 99th Dan Hamming, and listening to documentaries on...
Did I give you my fork? I must have. Did you eat yet out of it?
I did not eat out of that fork.
Okay, good. All right, good. Here's your spoon. All right, very good.
Yeah, you accidentally gave me a fork when I already had one.
Yeah.
I ultimately decided to do some kind of combination of a steel manufactory and a workshop. Because of this task right here. And it'll give me enough steel to be able to activate this research. So, pretty useful. Plus, then from here on out in the future, I'll be able to produce more steel. Bit of a graphical glitch right there. The puddings are pretty good. And I can't upgrade this armory anymore without causing an increase in size, so I have thoughts of upgrading this barracks in order to meet a potential increase in the training size. I've also been listening to documentaries on the Peloponnesian War. And on life under Sparta versus Athens. And now basically on the Battle of 300, or I think the Battle of Peloponnesipe, something along those lines. We're most familiar with that battle thanks to the film 300. Although obviously that film isn't entirely historically accurate. And also at my American Political Thought class, it was said that it was arranged so that the fallen soldiers would be buried in ways so that you couldn't really tell who was more important. The cemetery, due to the graves surrounding a hill, the graveyard or cemetery, and those that in front were lower than the ones at the back. So you were either at the front and low, or at the back and elevated. So it was a sort of way for Union and Confederate soldiers alike to be buried together without showing any favoritism towards either side. Although obviously I'm pretty sure just about everyone shows favoritism towards the Union. In regards to the Confederacy, there was obviously an element of states' rights to it, a sort of element of federalism, federal government versus state governments, but obviously that whole thing arose out of the issue of slavery. So,